Hi everyone, Anthony Fantano here, the internet's most ambient drone nerd. Time for an album review, Tim Hecker's Ravedeath 1972. I'm finally getting to this review now because this LP took me a while to digest. Don't rush me on these things, guys. Tim Hecker is a Canadian musician whose albums really take long, uninterrupted listens to fully appreciate. It's not exactly something you listen to on the go, not something you put on shuffle in the iPod. Ravedeath is an interesting follow-up to this guy's most recent work for me, and a return to more of the distorted and dissonant sounds on an LP like Mirages. Because to me, and this is just my opinion, maybe his stuff on An Imaginary Country, for example, was just way too heavenly, pleasant sounding, though I'm sure some people seek that out. I'm of the opposite. So, Ravedeath. Imagine a post-apocalyptic city. The buildings are crumbling, the landscape is gray, everything looks fuzzy and blurred because there's all sorts of dust and just dirtiness hanging in the air. There's only one person left on the planet, and if you were that person, this album would be the deafening silence you would hear for the rest of your life. The whole thing, front to back, is like a barren wasteland of echoes left over from a society that used to be there. There are signs that life was in this spot, whether it be the pianos or the organs or the guitar, but the lack of structure proves that there's nothing alive to be found. It's like the neglect that these sounds endured over the years caused them to sprawl, just grow over each other, creating this drony soundscape. I hear things when I hear this album, but I see a lot of things too. I just see a lot of vivid imagery. It kind of reminds me of that Twilight Zone episode with Burgess Meredith when he's trying to read, but nobody will let him read. And then the bomb drops while he's in a bank vault, and then he finally has time to read, and then he breaks his glasses, and he can't. This sound is what happens. This is the soundtrack to everything that happens to him after the episode fades to black. Some moments here do feel like they could have gone on longer, though, to gain more vastness, like the opener or Analog Paralysis 1978, but the 2 to 3 part epics on this LP make up for that entirely. In the Fog, In the Air, Hatred of Music, real highlights on this LP, and loaded with textures and things that sound like other things. There are moments where I'm pretty sure I'm hearing like string sections or voices, though it doesn't make any note of that in the liner notes, so I'm sure they're not. To me, the crowning achievement of this album is how Hecker has created something that has a real appearance of formlessness, and that's not easy to do. Some tracks on here do feel like they have more intent than others, like Hatred of Music Part 1, which escalates beautifully, just like too beautiful for words for me. But most of the time here you're just kind of staring at endless landscapes, lost cities, and that can be just as breathtaking as something that has a real appearance of structure and planning. Now, I'm not going to make the case that this is the most unique LP on the planet. There's a lot of stuff out there like this, especially if you do research on the label that this came off of, Cranky. So why is Tim Hecker worth your time more than these other people? Well, to me, his music, when I'm listening to it, I don't feel like I'm observing a piece of art on the wall and standing here and just staring. I feel like I'm in it. I feel like I'm surrounded by it. And to me, that's kind of what makes the difference. Call it ambient, call it drone, call it whatever. I'm calling it a Light 8. The pieces on this thing remind me of everything from Eno to the really quiet interludes on, let's say, a Godspeed You Black Emperor album. And I'm sure all of you want to know what Cal thinks of Tim Hecker. If you took care of your computer, you wouldn't have to worry about hackers. And I hate Cal Chuchesta. Anthony Fantano, Tim Hecker, Ravedeath 1972, forever.